Men are under attack because they represent God on earth. They are the Christ on earth. Evil understands that, so is working through others to destroy men. You destroy the man, you can destroy the woman and children. I want to give you one quick example of another man who evil tried to destroy, working through others. I played this on Friday, I believe, but I didn't get to it for my Newsmax audience. This is from Fox 4 News. Former Fort Worth officer convicted of rape, exonerated. Last week, a young man by the name of Ryan from San Antonio, Texas, called in and said his uncle, Brian Franklin, was falsely accused of rape back in 1994. Falsely accused and wrongfully convicted. He wasn't exonerated until late 2016. Here's the first soundbite. Fox 4 News, December 2016, report on former officer exonerated after 21 years in prison.
A former Fort Worth police officer has been exonerated after spending 21 years in prison. Brian Franklin was sentenced to life in prison in the 1994 rape of a 13-year-old girl. He got out in May when the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals granted him a new trial. That trial concluded today with a verdict of not guilty.
We also spoke to a relative of the girl who accused him. He came forward a few years ago and said that she told him she lied about the rape. That changed this case and is a big reason why Franklin is free tonight.
Isn't that mind-blowing? This is not a joke. The Democrats, the men and women of the Democratic Party hate men. They hate good. Amazing. April 2016, a court granted him a new trial. He maintained his innocence since his arrest.
In April, the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals granted him a new trial, ruling in an opinion that he was denied due process because his alleged victim lied under oath. 2 years ago, in a 2014 hearing, she admitted she lied in part of her testimony, but remained adamant that Franklin raped her. Franklin has maintained his innocence since his arrest.
I knew it was going to come. You know, I wasn't surprised.
21 years of life lost over a lie. The accuser was the daughter of a friend. Her stepbrother knew she was lying.
And I had the trifecta against me. You know, I was an innocent man, I was a former police officer, and I was accused of raping a child.
The accuser was the daughter of one of Franklin's friends. Tarrant County prosecutors had no DNA evidence, relying instead on testimony. John Peterson, the accuser's stepbrother, feared testifying in the first trial, but came forward about 10 years ago, saying she confided in him days after the alleged assault, saying she made it up. The rape never happened.
Wow. This woman needs to be locked up and throw away the key. The stepbrother and another man knew it. Don't know if she, the woman, will get charged for perjury, will be charged for perjury.
I can't imagine what he'd been through, and it's scary. I mean, it's scary that it just takes somebody's word.
Darren McMunn also testified on Franklin's behalf, saying the girl's mother told him her daughter was lying.
I'm not the first, and I probably won't be the last.
He is exonerated under the law, but he wants to expunge the charge and file a declaration of innocence. We do not know if anything could happen to the accuser for perjury.
Lock her up forever and a day. And the last soundbite, he needs to be declared innocent before being compensated.
Franklin will sue for damages. If he is declared innocent, he can also ask the state for compensation from the wrongfully accused fund. People who are wrongfully convicted and have to spend time in prison can be paid, but they have to be declared innocent first.
Brian Franklin's on the phone. He called in. I can't believe it. It's amazing. Brian, thank you for calling, sir. How you doing?
Pretty good, Jesse. Glad to talk to you.
Brian, this is amazing that you call. I really appreciate that.
Well, I've been listening to what you're saying about wrongful conviction and false allegations, and I wanted to talk to you.
Yes, sir. So, Brian, you spent 21 years in prison over a lie, a false accusation. What was it like being in prison that long? What were you thinking? How was it for you?
Well, it really sucked. I knew the truth would come out. I didn't think it would take so long, but my faith in God increased, and I just kept hanging on and doing what I could do inside the prison walls to get myself free.
And were there lawyers or someone working on your behalf during that whole time?
I had the total support of my family and friends, the people who really knew me, and so they were able to get their money together and hire attorneys. But it still took 3 habeas corpuses to finally get my case reversed.
That's amazing. So where is this woman now that accused you?
She lives in the Fort Worth area somewhere.
Once all this is said and done, will you have her arrested and tell them to throw the key away?
I tried to forgive, but it's difficult. It would be easier if she admitted her lies and just told the truth, and I would like to know why she lied, why she picked me. But I just have to go forward with my life and try to do the best I can and try to help others who are also wrongfully incarcerated.
Brian, this woman needs to be in prison. You can have her put in prison and still not hate her. She's wrong for what she done to you. And so men got to start fighting back. As long as these liberal, godless women know that men are not going to fight back, they're going to only do this more and more and more. They go out of control. So do what you want, but I highly recommend have this woman arrested and tell them to throw the key away and never let her out.
Yeah. Well, the prosecutors, the DA's office, there's no way they're going to prosecute their own witness. That would not look good for them at all. It's tough to even get them to admit they were wrong. On my second trial, they knew I was innocent, and yet they tried to wrongfully convict a man who they knew was innocent. They knew I was going to testify. They knew I wasn't even there. Yet they prosecuted me a second time.
The men need to start fighting back, Brian. I'm telling you, as long as we allow this to happen, it's going to only get worse rather than getting better. The accuser's stepbrother knew all along that this woman was lying.
Yes. Why
did he stand up in the very beginning?
I don't know exactly. He and her were both, young, and I guess he was afraid, and maybe he hoped that she would do the right thing. And, once I got convicted, I was out of sight, out of mind. And, they thought I would never get out and see the light of day again. So people went on with their lives except for my family and friends who supported me 100%.
I also read that her mother, the accuser's mother, told another man that her daughter was lying. When did the mother find out that the daughter was lying?
I don't know. I'm sure she probably knew from the very beginning that she was lying, but I wish they would have came forward sooner, but I don't know what their thinking was. They just didn't care.
Right. That's what it was. They didn't care. But so what are your plans for this woman? You got to fight back, Brian, because I'm telling you, this woman, she's, I don't know, I have no proof, but I'm sure she's not just stopping with you with these type of allegations.
Yeah, well, I did talk to an attorney about suing her civilly, and that was looked into, but she has nothing, and you can't get blood from a turnip.
Right.
what I would be happy with is just for her to admit the truth, to come out forward, say that she lied, and tell why she lied. I think that's very important.
Yes. Is it your nephew? I believe your nephew Ryan said that the accuser's stepfather was sexually abusing her.
Correct.
So that did happen?
As far as I know, yes. And then he took a plea bargain with the DA's office for a lesser included charge of injury to a child, and he received 10 years probation.
Amazing.
Yes.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. I'm working and going forward with my life. I'm trying to keep a positive attitude and trying to help others who are wrongfully convicted. And I'm still seeking that total exoneration, from the state, so I can totally clear my name, get my arrest record expunged, and hopefully get some compensation. They took more than 21 years of my life.
I know, man. But I don't understand how that worked. We all know now that you're innocent. It never happened. Why did that happen all at the same time? Why weren't you exonerated, compensated, and everything at the same time?
Well, when my case was reversed by the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, they just sent it back for either the DA to dismiss the charges or to retry me. And the DA's office decided to retry me, even though they had to have known that I was innocent. So instead of doing the right thing and dismissing the case and say, hey, this guy's actually innocent, they retried me and tried to convict an innocent person.
Amazing. Men are hated, Brian. They want to kill men.
There are some bad women out there, and there are many good women.
I'm talking about these liberal, feminist, God-hating, Christ-hating, man-hating, good women-hating, children-hating, unborn child-hating women.
Yeah, I don't know why they think that way. I don't understand them at all.
Yeah, they're evil. So
yes.
At the time you were a police officer, will you get all that back once everything is done? Do you get back? Do you want to be an officer again?
I would love to be involved in law enforcement.
Yeah.
That's in my blood. But, I try to keep it active in the courts that I could, get my job back because of my wrongful termination.
Yes.
Because it was based on a wrongful conviction, but because of the time limit, that's no longer possible to get the same job back. But I would love to stay active in law enforcement.
Plus, they owe you compensation. All that, the money you would have earned as a police officer had not they gotten rid of you.
Right, but because of the time limit, that's not possible because of the time. I tried to keep it active in court, but the time limit just expired.
Amazing. Did you have a wife and children at the time that this happened to you?
I do have 2 children, but at the time this all came down, I was going through a divorce.
Oh, I see. And what's your relationship with your children as a result of this?
My relationship with my son is good. We see each other and we talk and things like that. But my relationship with my daughter is not very good.
I'm sorry about that, man, but I understand it. I am so sorry about that. I understand why you're so hurt. She won't accept that this girl lied on you?
I don't know. I send her messages. I send her Christmas greetings and birthday cards and things like that. But she won't even give me the opportunity to talk to her and answer any of her questions.
Amazing. For some reason, it's easier for men to forgive than it is for women to forgive.
I don't know. I think each thing's an individual situation and individual circumstances.
How do you feel about your daughter acting this way with you?
Well, I don't like it at all. Hopefully over time she will realize that I was a good guy. I was the one that was taken away from her. I didn't leave voluntarily.
Yeah, yeah. That's amazing.
So, you have to go forward and keep the door open with her, and hopefully she'll, want to build a relationship with me.
Brian, I have one more question for you. I need to take a quick break. Can you hold?
Sure.
All right, hold on. Amazing, folks. You got to stand up and fight back with good. I'm telling you. Brian, your kids are like in their 20s and 30s now?
I think she's in her 30s.
Amazing. You have a good nephew there, Ryan.
Yes.
The way I found out about this, as you know, he called in and told us about this story. And
Right.
so you have a nephew who loves you.
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
He's a good man and he's a good father.
I can tell. While in prison, did you have to deal with horrible things that people try to hurt you or anything?
I try to keep a low profile, considering I was a police officer and accused of rape and innocent. Administration in prison, they do not like you to admit that you're innocent because that does not look good for them.
Yeah.
But I was on a unit that was pretty laid back and pretty mellow, and there was a couple other police officers that I knew who were wrongfully convicted that were there also.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah. And sometimes a rape allegation, it's really hard to prove you're innocent.
Yep.
Because there's not always DNA. Like in my case, there's no DNA. Thank God I was able to prove that I wasn't even there. I had store sales receipts and credit card bills to prove where I was. And people who were at this house testified that I wasn't there. So I had what I call a double alibi.
You shouldn't have to prove that you were innocent. Just because someone accused you, you should be presumed innocent until proven guilty.
That's not a reality, though. When you're arrested and then indicted and then go to trial, jury may have the right intentions, but they're going to think that you're guilty, and you have to dig yourself out of the hole and prove your innocence.
So, Brian, and how do you, when someone accuses you, how do you prove that you're innocent? That's ridiculous, man. That's not the American way.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to prove a negative sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
But I was able to do that with my alibis, with credit card receipts and time and dated store sales receipts, and prove where I was and prove where I wasn't. It shouldn't have to be that way, but that's if you want to prove yourself innocent, you have to somehow show an alibi, find the actual perpetrator, maybe DNA, something like that. You have to go in there with the evidence to prove yourself innocent.
No, we gotta
be wrongfully convicted.
We gotta turn it around and do it the right way. This is.
Oh yes, definitely.
We can't continue to let this go down like this.
Starts with the prosecutors. All it takes is a wrongful allegation and a poor investigation, and someone with a prosecutor or a police department that don't have open eyes and get these blinders on and want to prove you guilty when you're not.
Amazing. So let me ask
you. It can happen to anybody.
Especially with men. This is why I'm telling men to start standing up and fighting back with the truth and turning these laws on these women who are accusing them. And then these feminists would understand what they're doing if they have to deal with this mess. But let me ask, so where were you, and what were you doing the day that you heard that you have been accused of this rape allegation? What were you doing? Where were you, and what was your first thought?
Well, I went out with a buddy of mine. We had some pizza, and I was just coming home to my apartment that I was separated at the time, and I got out of the car and I saw some police officers that I knew, but I didn't think nothing of it. And they said, "Put your hands on the car," and I thought they were joking. And they said, "No, we're serious." And they handcuffed me, and I said, "What are you saying I did?" And they said, you know. I said, I have no idea. And it was just so surreal.
Wow.
I had no idea what they were talking about. It was scary, too.
So they believe that woman or girl at the time over you. They just assumed she was telling the truth?
I think it's a default setting to believe any complainant. You know, when they make a call to the police, they automatically believe that something happened. And if they would do a thorough investigation, they would determine she was lying. But they put their blinders on and just kept going forward. You know, when people told them that I wasn't there and her story kept changing, they didn't care.
Amazing, man. And how has this affected you when it comes to other people, when it comes to and when it comes to other officers? And do you have a different mindset now than you had prior to all this?
Oh yeah, I have to. I'm very skeptical. I try to keep aware of where I am and how I could prove where I am.
Wow.
You know, like with cell phones with GPS, I love that. You know, I want cameras around. I want, you know, GPS attached to me because I'm doing the right thing. And so I want to be able to prove where I am and what I'm doing.
Amazing. How old were you when this happened?
35.
And how are you now?
59.
Amazing. How can we help you, Brian?
Well, you're doing a good job, Jesse, just shining the light on wrongful allegations. And I agree with you that we have to continue to fight when someone says something and it's not true. You need to fight it to the very end and never give up. And people need to keep an open mind, like in this Judge Kavanaugh situation.
Yes.
You know, just because someone says something, it doesn't mean it's true.
That's right. So are you done with women now? Do you still trust women?
I am a little more skeptical about women's motives.
Yeah.
But I have a girlfriend now, and I'm happy with her, and we have a future together. So
you're not afraid to be alone with her?
No, not at all.
You better keep the camera on.
Maybe.
Brian, God bless you, man, and we're going to always pray for you that your life get better and better. God is restoring it for you. And if you don't hold on to anger, it's going to be as though all this stuff never happened to you. So just don't hold on to anger. And if you can have somebody find and want the accuser, have her put in prison for the rest of her life.
Well, I think they need to serve time definitely for false allegations.
Absolutely.
To see how they do it and admit that they were wrong and lied and say why they lied.
Yeah, because that's evil. And they need to understand what they are doing to innocent people by falsely accusing them. Right.
And I think police departments and DA's office need to take a step back sometimes when red flags appear.
Yes.
Reconsider the case and do the right thing.
Brian, God bless you, man. And thank you for calling me. This is amazing that you called in. I absolutely appreciate it. And feel free to call me anytime, all right?
I'll do that.
I wish you well, Brian Franklin.
Thank you, sir.
God bless you, man. You're a good man.
You too.
And tell Ryan I said thanks for bringing this to my attention.
Thank you. I'm sure he's listening.
All right. God bless you, Brian.
You too, Jesse.
All right. Amazing.